Scientific discovery proves the existence of God.
Oh boy.
Science has recently discovered multiple finely tuned constants and forces. They're perfectly finely tuned in such a way to allow life to come about.
No, physicists don't think the universe was tuned for life. There's no consensus there. However, they think that the universe might have been tuned for its structure overall. The same constants that govern black holes and gamma ray bursts are the same constants that govern life. There's nothing special about life in the universe. So if you're going to say that the universe is tuned for life, it's equally tuned for rocks. There's nothing special about life in our universe. If there was, we'd expect an entirely new set of laws of physics to govern life specifically, but there is none.
For example, the cosmological constant. Change in the value of this constant by even 1 part out of 10 raised to the 120th power would render the universe life prohibiting.
What? No, that number does not refer to the cosmological constant. That number is referring to the discrepancy between zero-point energy, the number that was predicted by quantum field theory, and the cosmological constant that we observe. The discrepancy is about 120 orders of magnitude. The cosmological constant could be 0, and the universe would still permit life. In fact, it could be anywhere from 0 and 10 times greater than it is now, and we'd still be just fine. It'd have to be way, way greater for any difference in the universe to even matter. And this report shows that if you change all the different parameters, you could still have a universe like ours, with life in it. You're just assuming that the constants are fixed. So of course, if you only change one, then of course we wouldn't exist. But that assumes that the constants are fixed. What if the other constants change to accommodate? Like a seesaw, what if you change one of the constants and the other constant changes, so it maintains its structure and life? Also, the constants that allow for life are not that fine-tuned at all. Compare it to a radio, for example, like an FM radio where there's, 88 megahertz to 108 megahertz, those are stations. The amount of tuning required for me to change it to one station is about 1 part in 500. Whereas constants for things like the down quark, that only requires tuning in 1 part in 7. And that's one of the most constrained factors. So matter is less finely tuned than the radio in my car. Also, he's not considering the fact that if we tuned things differently, the universe would be more conducive to life. For example, if we had less dark energy, there would be more galaxies, there would be more matter, there would be more stuff clumped up, allowing for life to exist. So we can tune the universe better. Also, what unit is he using when he's saying this big number, 10 to the 120? What unit is that? Because, for example, I can measure my height in light years. And my height in light years is like 1 in 10 to the negative 16. So if my height was off by 1 part in 10 to the 16 orders of magnitude, I would be twice as tall. Like, okay. You're measuring in the wrong units to make it look like it's such a big difference. But it's really not.
The odds of our universe being finely tuned for life is comparable to getting 50 royal flushes in a row.
No, we only have one universe to go by. We don't have different types of universes to compare or to assess the probability of us being here. We only have 1 out of 1, so the chance of us being here could be 100%. If I'm rolling a die, for example, with 6 sides, I know the chance of me rolling a 6 is 1 out of 6. But in order to know the probability of us rolling a universe like ours, you would need to know all possible universes. We don't. There could be a range from an infinite number of universes to only ours. And if there's an infinite number of universes, then ours is inevitable. It's gonna happen. And if ours is the only universe, then ours is necessarily this way. Meaning the chance of us existing is 100%.
So under atheism, it is unexpected that we exist. If God exists, we would expect that. Actually, our existence proves the existence of God.
What? We wouldn't expect fine-tuning at all if God exists, because God would not be constrained to physical parameters. He could make us live under any physical condition, no matter what the constants were. He could make us live. In fact, under theism, consciousness typically isn't physical, neither is life. These are not physical things, or the soul, right? So why would they be constrained by physical parameters? Why would these non-physical things require physical fine-tuning? We'd expect tuning under naturalism, not theism. Also, if God exists and was tuning a universe for us specifically, or for life, we would expect only life. We would expect a universe where there was only living stuff. If I'm tuning a radio for a specific station, I don't want an interference of all these different stations. I want one station. So if God is turning the knob for our universe, for life, He wants only life. He doesn't want all this other stuff like dark matter, dark energy. 95% of our universe is made of empty space and dark energy and stuff that's not us. How does that make sense under theism? Under theism, we would expect a universe that is like an infinite flat plane of living beings and humans and life. That's what we would expect. But no, we see the exact opposite, where we are an anomaly. Also, theism doesn't explain why in the early universe entropy was super low, not conducive to life at all. And lastly, doesn't fine-tuning apply to God? Who configured God to be in the perfect configuration that desired to make the universe that allowed us to be in? I mean, it just pushes the problem back. It just kicks the can down the road. Who's tuning God to be the way God is? And if you're going to say that God is necessarily the way he just is that way, then we can say the universe and all of its properties are just this way.